Live streaming. How's it going, Ange?
Oh, yeah.
Hey. All right. So, welcome to the Facebook community and to Academy Call. So, we're trying this for the very first time where we are starting our weekly Academy coaching call live streaming to the Facebook group. And then after 15 minutes or so, we're going to cut off the feed and then we're going to continue in Simplero Academy going deeper into the topic at hand. So, um, very excited for this experiment, and I have no idea how this thing works in terms of seeing like, are we live? Is this actually working? It looks like it's working. Yes. Okay. So now we just need to see if people are there. All right. Um, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna get into it. So let's see here. So the topic today is why is a terrible idea to try to convince someone to buy from you. And this is something that's tripped me up quite a bit in my life. So the my mom is like the born seller. She started a software company in 1980, um, and grew that to a market leading 50-person company, incredible business. And she was always a fantastic seller. She would go sell on I remember being on vacation or when skiing in Norway, and she would meet random people and she would tell them why they needed her software. And it was very impressive and oftentimes a little bit awkward where like she would jump into these sales pitches. And I kind of ended up in the opposite camp of almost like persuasion reluctance, where I'm like, hey, if you don't want the thing, like don't worry about it. Like just don't get the thing. Um, and to the degree where I think it was like overly, it was like a problem. It was like too much, right? Like we want people to know about our thing, but we also don't want to be so pushy that they, we push people away, or worse, we attract the right kind of person. And so that's what um that's what this training is about. So basically the problem is like that I see a lot of people do is they go into like, oh, but people need my thing, right? Like that the you see that what you have is so beneficial that you look at so many people and you're like, oh, they could really use it. Like they really need this thing. But if they don't know that they need it and they're not actively wanting it, then they're not going to really enjoy it. They're not going to get benefit from it. It's going to be way too much work for you to try to convince that person. And even if you do, it's just a waste of your time and energy because they're not going to be a good customer. So the lesson is like there's 8 billion people in the world. And so go be selective about who you want to work with. Right? You don't need to work with everybody. There's plenty of people out there. So instead, what you want to do is you want to identify the people who are red hot, ready for the thing that you have to sell, that you have to offer. And then you want to go straight for those. And the way that works is that you identify a market that already exists, that's already bloody red with lots of people, lots of competitors, lots of people buying stuff, and lots of people selling stuff. A lot of people want to go like invent their thing. They're like, oh, this is like radically new. It's something completely different than anything that exists. That's because if it's built on something, then go do some people to move. Like, yeah, it's better. And chances are, like, so all of us, we're in business to solve some problem for people. All right. We're in business to solve problems and deliver outcomes. That's it. That's always the case. That's the only thing that we ever do is we solve problems, we deliver outcomes. And so the people that you're selling to are likely already, trying to solve that problem in some other way. they likely already have a bunch of, bought a bunch of other tools, a bunch of other programs, products, services, whatever, to try to solve this problem. You weren't the first. Maybe you'll be the last because they actually solve it this time, right? But chances are you're not the first. So what you want is really the easiest thing to sell is someone who's already a buyer in your market. They've already bought other stuff to try to solve the same problem, but they're not happy, right? They're frustrated. There's three kinds of people, buyers in any market. There's the ones that are just like fanatics. They're like, I love this. This is the best. This is my type of workout. This is my like relationship guru. This is my software provider. Like I'm sold. I'm there. I'm fanatic. You could do anything you want. Like I have this logo branded on my thigh. Like you can't get me away from this. That's the first group. The second group are the people that are just fine. Like, yeah, it's working. It's good enough. It's not really a big problem. It's not, I don't love it that much, but I'm fine. You don't want to target those people. You don't want to target the fanatics. It's way too much work. You can, but it's like, don't. You don't want to target the people who are fine. Again, there's not enough emotion there. There's not enough pain for them to move. You want to target the third group, which are the people who are frustrated. They're fed up. They freaking hate it. They're like, oh, I'm stuck. I spoke with someone a while back, and she went on this rant about how she felt she was in a toxic, abusive relationship with her CRM. She was like, I can't stand my software, CRM software. It's horrible. Like, I feel like I'm in an abusive, toxic relationship. I want to get out. Like, help me. Right. Like, she was really upset and she felt locked in at the same time. So that was tricky too. But you want people who are really frustrated because those people, all you basically need to do is say, hey, I get it. You're frustrated. You tried all these things. It doesn't work. Like you've tried to lose weight a million times. You've tried dieting. You've tried this. You've tried that. And it's not working. Here's why. And then you give people a new vehicle that's not better, but that's different to them. It doesn't have to be you're not the first person in the world to come up with this idea to do this or whatever. It just has to be new and different to them, to where they're at. And so that is how you go about selling to people who are not, so you're not trying to convince anybody, because what you really want is people who are already, they are aware of the problem. They're aware of the existing solutions. They've tried some of them and they've used some of them. Like they're not just problem aware and solution aware. They're also buyers and users, and they're your dream customers. Those are the people that you want. Those are the red hot people that you want to come buy your stuff. And again, I've made this mistake a lot of times, like trying to convince people. Like sometimes with Simplero, we get someone who writes like a email, a message to support saying, hey, I'm considering the software and here's like a list of 50 different features and things that I want to see. And like, can you like get back to me and write to me if it fulfills all of these things? And stupidly, we've done that at times. And we concluded that every single time, either they end up not buying anyway, or they end up buying, but then they're just a huge hassle to work with, always complaining, always wanting more or different. And that's the thing is like, once you set people up in this way to buy from you in that way, then you've set the expectation that this is how the relationship is going to go. So it's much better that you just ignore those people. Just like, hey, if you want this, if you're excited for this thing, if you're passionate, if you're like, this is a hell yes for you, go do it. If not, like, go do something else. Like, find someone who is a hell yes for you, right? Let them go. Let them go find the right solution for them. The other thing that's fantastic about finding people who are already buying and using other stuff is that they're they've already overcome some of the blockages, some of the limitations or um, blocks that other people are going to have. So typically people are going to have limiting beliefs around the thing, the product, the service, the method, the way that you solve the problems. Like, oh, I don't know, like, does that method really work? Right. I saw a couple that does relationship um uh development coaching, whatever, where they're like one of their key things is like you don't need both people in the relationship to do the work. You just need one of you guys to do the work and this will work, right? It's like, oh, great. Do I believe in that? Do I believe that that method's going to work for me? Maybe. Or rather, do I believe that that method does work for some people? Do I believe in the method in itself? That's number one. Number two is, do I believe that I can do it? Right? Okay. Lifting weights and dieting, I can see that that works, but I don't know that I can do that. Like, I, I just don't have the willpower to it. It's not my kind of thing. I just like doesn't feel. I'm not sure. So these are internal beliefs, beliefs about myself. And the third kind of belief is the external beliefs. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. Those are basically the big three external. So if you're finding someone who's already a buyer and a user of what you're looking to sell, then they're already, oh, they've overcome those internal and external beliefs. They're already like, yeah, I'm doing the work and I'm like, I found the time and the money and the resources to do this. So that's already taken care of. And the internal can be one of the hardest to take to overcome in your marketing if you need to. So that's already solved. So now all you need to do is say, hey, I get you. Super frustrating. I've tried all these things too. It didn't work. That's why I developed this. And that's pretty much all you need to do is to say that. And people are like, oh my God, you too. Like, you see me, you see how I've struggled. Like, yes, like, what's your thing? A few questions, sell and try and business. So that is what this is about. So let's see here. Um, yeah, I think we had some issues with the whole live stream. We're gonna have to go back and revisit the setup around that. But regardless, I'm gonna cut off the live stream. It says waiting for signal. All right. I'm going to cut off the live stream and then we can dive into actually implementing this right now. So 1, 2, 3, and bye Facebook.